This is a privilege on my side to meet you today. I'm thankful, grateful that you'll take the time to watch this orientation video. Um, by the way, welcome to Hugenote College. I trust and pray that your journey will be enlightening, inspirational even, and formational into your own faith and skills to becoming a minister of the religion of the faith. My name is Dr. Guillaume Smith. I am one of the full-time um, full-time personnel at Hugenote College, alongside with Dr. Jolande Steenkamp, which I know you have already met, even though it was online. My primary responsibility will be to lecture in certain modules all through your three study years, starting with TLH 131 this first semester. So you are going to see my face first of all the other lecturers. Um, it is my privilege to speak to you with regards to the assignments you're going to write and how to write them and what to expect, since you are most probably new to the study of theology and new to a university ops concept, this university situation. Um, you will most probably wonder what to expect and how to do it. The first thing I would like to assure you is that even though the work looks overwhelmingly, um, lots and lots of it, you can be sure that it is quite manageable if you create your own timetable and stick to it with the discipline. We are aware of your personal circumstances. Most of you are working, most of you are doing this part-time, and you entered a degree course which expects a lot of full-time commitment, enabling you to complete this degree in 3 years. But now you know you have the option of extending that 3 years to 5, 6, or even 7 years, so that you can take all the time you need to complete it. Even though every module, as you know, is 2 months in length, um, which means that you are going to be um, totally focused for the next 2 months, starting on Monday, the 29th of January. uh, so let us start. I would like to share my screen with you. Let me find where I want to show you. There we go. Come on. I hope you can see it. As you can see, I am trying to, there we go. I am trying to give you a feeling of how it works when you go into a Zoom lecture, and how you, as lecturer, as presenter, find your own feel with regards to this. If you open your My Notes page, the dashboard you're going to use for your studies, and you open on TLH 131, which most probably be the only tab that you will be able to access, you will find, first of all, this generic welcome, and then this orientation where we currently are, the orientation video, which Dr. Steenkamp did, and then the orientation guide, which is what I'm discussing tonight with you. And even though it's not shown here yet, you will see it when you open this up. The orientation video I'm currently making, I will then load up and make accessible to you. You will then also see all the online library resources, the Access Theology Library, etc. And for the TLH 131 students of 2024, we will meet every Wednesday evening at 6 o'clock for an hour, where we, and this will be the standard meeting link, where we will discuss the lecture work of the week and give each other tips and advice on the assignments that you must complete. Please note that I expect of you to attend these Zoom lectures because this is also part of the formation you have while studying. It's also your opportunity to ask questions and solicit feedback. And it is important to me to establish a relationship with you with regards to your studies, since I have an open door policy to enable you to succeed in your studies. There you will see that the classes, unfortunately, this is not yet changed to the new dates. That will be ready when you open your portal on the 29th of January to start with your studies. Now, you must please take note, there we are, that in Hugenote we use a variety of assessments. You will always have 4 My Notes activities of 2 to 5 pages, a quiz of some 20 marks, 2 larger assignments, which will then be in the form of research projects of about 20 pages, and then 2 summative assessments of 50 to 100 marks per semester. A summative assessment is what you will get to know as a semester test. It is testing the knowledge of what you have learned through the 2 parts of the module you are doing currently. You must please take note that you need to achieve 40% of your semester marks of your assignments, your activities, and your quizzes. Actually, it's 50%. It's not 40. Please, I correct myself. Take note. You need to have 50% for all your assignments and activities to be allowed to write the summative assessment or then the semester text. To put you at ease, we will not be writing exams like a normal university. You're doing the semester with semester tests and then you end with an exam. Since we use the 2 summative assessments, the semester tests, as a sort of exam, you need to achieve more than 50% in your exam, your summative assessment, which comprises 60% of your final mark. And if you do not achieve 50%, but you get a mark of between 40 and 49%, you can contact the lecturer, in this case myself, for a supplementary exam, which will then help you to perform better and achieve. Okay, now we should speak to one another about assignments, on how to do it and what to expect when you do the assignment. Okay, first of all, assignments that you need to write, where you will be writing 2, a small mini one and then the larger one in the first and then another in the second part of this module. A good assignment like this is a research project which you attempt, and then you do it for points, which I will mark and give you the point, so that you can see how you have progressed in your own thinking and formation as a theologian cum minister of religion. You will find that I frequently refer to you as a theologian, since full-time ministers of religion have theological knowledge. They studied theology, they thought about theology, they learned how to read the Bible, etc., which makes you then in your new congregation, where you will be working, a sort of more skilled person on the Bible than the rest of your congregation. That doesn't make you better, that just makes you a sort of resident theologian, a source of theology and theological transformation for your congregation and your church. Having said that, therefore, when you do an assignment, the assignment is supposed to help you grow in that endeavor. All assignments are formative, so it is geared towards you integrating your knowledge and applying it with regards to your own context, your own personal growth, etc., so that you then can learn to think in a more theological way and eventually act accordingly. A good assignment consists of an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. You will be provided with a generic title page where you will state your name, the subject, the topic of the assignment, who the lecturer is, and the date of your assignment. You can also then add your student number. At the end of all assignments, you must place a bibliography. And please note, in my instance, I would expect of you to use between 5 and 7, let's average it on 5 sources in your bibliography. It may be the prescribed lecture material that you use. You can use your own research and add other sources, but we need to be able to see how you are conducting research and how far and wide you are able to read. The other thing that you must take note of in this instance is that you must learn to write in an academic way. Therefore, academic writing consists of a certain way of language. This language then will tell you, help you to start speaking in the manner of an informed theologian. Please note that does not mean necessarily that you'll get stuck in technical terms or phrases like corpus and like lectio, and what other examples can I give you? Parousia. And if you don't know what that means, it's fine. I'm just trying to impress you with the fact that I actually have a slight idea what it is. Okay, that was a bit of humor. The academic language you then use are research type of language, and that helps you to find your feel into a more critical way of thinking. Always remember that in academic studies, you are taught to think in a critical way, to analyze, to interpret, to integrate, to eventually form your own theories and to think independently with the knowledge to your availability. That is the purpose of academic education, to help people to think in a way that will enhance the knowledge capacity and the way other people function. Okay, now if we go back. Oh, so by the way, what I'm telling you now will be provided in the on my notes in the handout that you can be able to download there. An introduction in a normal assignment. Explain the aims of your assignment and the intended course of the study you're going to take. In other words, you will be telling the lecturer that you want to investigate the following, which will in more cases than one be the assigned material, the assigned theme of the assignment. And you will then formulate it in the way of a problem statement, which you will then investigate, and you will then plot that as the intended course of your study. Then you will have the body of your assignment that comprises the logical and reasoned development of your ideas, the themes and arguments concerning your theme, the assignment theme you're working with, and how you are able to get different sources together that can enable your argument and that can prove what you're trying to say, and that also then can enable your way of more critical thinking and formulating the way you are thinking about a thing. In the body, you can start with the identification, defining, and showing the interconnectedness of the key concepts of your research, which then will be in accordance to the aim you set out in your introduction. The whole thing of the body is of your assignment is this is where you do the work. This is where you actually research and think and evaluate and analyze and put together the information that you're availability, so that you then can draft a comprehensive, logical, and reasoned argument with regards to the problem statement you put into in your introduction. Being put in a more less complex way, you will argue an answer to the problem that you need to address. You will provide sources for your answer that helps you to build your argument, and you will demonstrate your ability to integrate knowledge, your experience, because you all most probably are full of life experiences and you know a lot of stuff already. And that then will be forming the basis of the argument that you are building. Let me go further. When you come to the conclusion of your assignment, you summarize the topic. That is why you do conclusions. There are no new pieces of information involved, so you must take what you wrote, the conclusions that you made, the arguments that you built, and you must summarize it in the form of a conclusion. For example, the theme was investigate the occurrence of wine in the story of the wedding at Cana in John chapter 2. And then you will say you concluded that there were lots of wine. You concluded that some of the wine was of lesser quality. You concluded that there was water in the caskets, which was then changed into wine, and that was of a better quality. And then you conclude this because this and that came to the fore. And it's all information that you argued in your body and not stuff that you try and build a new argument of. We need to expand a bit on your assignment. To help you understand, you must understand the topic. You must have a continuous train of thought. You should not let your argument consist of loose, unconnected fragments. My best advice to you is first read your sources, take notes for yourself. Then you go and you outline for yourself. You create an outline of you will unpack the problem. That incidentally also helps you to delineate the argument and how you will develop that. And then you should also then show how you understand the problem and how you will answer the problem and exactly what you expect the results will be, the hypothesis. Therefore, you develop the argument and you sum up at the conclusion. Academic words, let me help you understand a few. There are quite a few, as you will see in the notes you will receive. You will be contrasting stuff, pointing out the difference between certain sets of objects or characteristics. You will criticize, pointing out the good and bad characteristics. You will define, give definitions, a short description and concise description of the subject or the topic. You will compare, that is identifying the similarities or difference between facts and the differences between ideas and facts. You will distinguish, that is the differences of two topics from one another. You will evaluate, which is an informed opinion. You will examine, where you critically discuss a topic in terms of definite criteria and guidelines. You will explain, which is how you clarify what you are saying so that your reader can understand what you're trying. That is when you make use of illustrations, description, and simple but logical explanations. You will always only give the facts without discussion. Okay, let me rephrase that. When you give the facts, you only provide it without discussion. Discussion comes when you analyze, and you always analyze with regards to the data or information at hand. You must present your information in a brief, logical, and systematic manner. That's why you provide an outline for yourself and work with that. And when you identify something, you name the most important characteristics of a topic. Please, when you do an assignment, keep to the subject. Don't spindle this assignment to go to something that you think needs to be addressed. Avoid long explanations, repetitions, unnecessary information. It's always nice to read far and wide and find all this interesting bits and pieces of stuff that will enable you to have a broader knowledge base. But if it doesn't answer your question and if it doesn't help the assignment to be properly explained, don't use it. You should not copy study material without the fact that you have interpreted it or shown some insight in it. Do not provide a transcript of what I said in the videos. This is not how we work. I cannot be used as a source through my pre-recorded videos, since that was not peer-reviewed, so that it's not scrutinized by equals in the subject at hand. Therefore, it's better to use published and peer-reviewed resources. Academic resources are the stuff that you find in university libraries, academic libraries. An example of a non-academic source is when you use a diary with reflections written by a popular pastor or minister of religion, or a book that you bought in a Christian bookshop, which do not necessarily adhere to academic standards where that book has been peer-reviewed. In your assignment, back to the subject at hand, see, I digressed, where you should not do. Your language must be neat and correct. You must pay attention to the construction of your sentences, your punctuation, paragraphing. Use apps like Grammarly. Set your language spell checker to English or Afrikaans, depending on what language you are writing in. By the way, I know it's a side note, but by the way, Hugenote is a bilingual college. Although the lectures will be in English so as to be as inclusive enough, because we actually have students who cannot understand Afrikaans. So therefore the lectures are in English. You are free to answer your assignments in either English or Afrikaans, the language in you feel the most easy with. I could have included something like isiXhosa, but unfortunately I cannot read or understand isiXhosa. And then I must involve Zulu and Tswana, and at the end, since our language policy provides for English and Afrikaans, let's stick to the English lectures, and you can answer in Afrikaans. Even your summative assessments, your semester tests, you can answer in the language of your choice. You must try and not become personal in the assignment. So don't say, I felt it was like this, or I tried that, or it seemed to me is close to appropriate, but this is research of a subject. It's not yet postgraduate work where you can start describing your own thinking in terms of new information. Please have a continuous train of thought. There must not be loose, unconnected fragments. You must not exhibit a style where you just put several sources in one row behind each other without integrating or interpreting that. Please note of the approved abbreviations that is appropriate for academic writing. And then if you find an assignment with questions, rewrite that as a phrase. In your table of contents, please use the same headings and subheadings as you used in your assignment's body. Do not write long, winding sentences. Keep it simple, one fact per sentence, please. That will make your own reasoning very easy. And if you use quotation marks, remember that the full stop, exclamation, question marks should be on the inside of those quotation marks. And I'm getting very technical here, but academic writing is sometimes very technical. You will find a few other stuff in this manual that I'm going to present you. which will then help you how to write. It's almost a grammar lesson. And then we come to the fact that you can cite sources. A direct citation is when you use the words exactly as you found it in the source. Joe Snow said, quotation mark, in the days of Isaiah, it was fine to capture the rain, close the quotation mark. But you must remember it is not a good practice to have more than 10% of your assignment as direct quotations. Rather, you should read your source, write it in your own words. In other words, you started thinking about it and you rephrase it so that it makes sense for you, and let it flow with your writing, your previous sentence. And when you do that, even though you don't use quotations or direct citations, you still acknowledge the original author. If you then end your assignment and you go to your bibliography, you will use different points of views. This is the sources you use. In other words, you will go to people that have opposing views on the same subject that will help you to critically evaluate. Your citations can be in-text references, which may mean in sentences or paragraphs. For example, Dr. Smith, 2023, page 71, remarked that in the letter of Paul to the Romans, grace is one of the key elements of salvation. Or you can just say, in this instance, grace is the key to salvation, and then you capture it with Smith 2023, page 70. Okay, if you use figures, illustrations, and tables, your assignment may require you to insert labeling, figures, illustrations, and so forth, but please use it sparingly, only if it's relevant to your discussion, and then label it correctly. We are studying the Bible. The Bible is the source of all theology, since we believe that God's specific revelation came through the Bible, telling God's story and showing how it became personal through Jesus Christ. Yet you may not use Bible verses, quote Bible verses in your assignment without its context or function in the verse, which is irresponsible. Before you do that, go look into a Bible commentary so that you can make sure that the verse you want to add to your argument is taken in the right context. You will see that you need to use the abbreviated name of the book, the chapter number, the verse number. You don't have to cite the page number, because then you will have to explain what translation of the Bible you used and what edition it is, etc., etc. And most of us don't use it like that. And if you are using the Bible app, YouVersion, or the Bible Society's app, then page numbers are not applicable. So you will do that. If you cite a Bible verse, please put in a footnote and explain which translation you are using. You don't put in your bibliography in a footnote. It's just for this translation information. In the end, you will enjoy all this very much. Let me go on to another thing about the assignments that you need to know. Short activities test a particular skill. It is structured to test or develop this particular skill. So you will be asked to compare or use one source, then you should comply. If one source is given, only use that. Elaborate if it is absolutely needed only. Heed to the page allocation that your lecturer gives. The shorter assignments of 3 to 5 pages, please don't exceed that, because you need to train yourself in writing succinctly as an academic skill. Longer assignments form at the end a substantial point of a part of your final mark, and therefore you must take that into note in terms of the effort you put into the research and the writing of that assignment. You will find in our My Notes lecture schedule that more or less every week there will be assignment during the course of the 2-month-long module, including the semester tests. That will be then part of the assignments. Please adhere to the dates that are provided for handing it in. It will always be on a Monday evening at 12 at the latest. Every day after that, you will be penalized with a subtraction of 5% per day until a week has passed, and then it will be too late to hand in the assignment. If there is any problem which prohibits you to complete the assignment on time, and it is of such an situation that you can ask for lenience, please free to contact your lecturer. But also remember, in the most extreme of circumstances, a lecturer will grant any extension to the total class, as we are stuck with a very strict schedule to complete. You will be provided with a mark sheet, which will then give you an idea where you exceeded or fell short in your assignment. And then you must please remember, this is a thing that I need to say to you. Theology is about the journey. It is nice to work hard, and it is lovely to achieve distinctions. In academic world, in the universities, all universities, when you achieve 75% of your assignment, you pass with an extinction. But that is not the goal. The goal is to learn as much as you can about the world of Jesus and immerse yourself in new ideas and the techniques to be a change agent in your community. That resonant theologian I spoke of. This is geared to help you expand your own horizons. You must compare yourself with 2 questions. Did I do my best within the time and circumstances I have? And secondly, have I provided myself ample opportunity to grow? This is how you get the maximum of the course. You must use the knowledge of your lecturer, so please ask questions, send them emails. It's better then in the end to ask more questions and engage in discussions than to sit and then not understand something. And then finally, if your assignment is not finished, rather hand it in than nothing, because it shows your intent. I referred to the fact that you must use your sources. You can find sources through using Google Scholar, scholar.google.com, or you can use the open access resources, IOSIS Publishing, Directory of Open Access Books, Open Access Journals, Project Gutenberg, Christian Classics, Ethereal Library, resources on theology and ecumenism, Post-Reformation Digital Library, theology and religion open access books and journals. That is from the University of Pretoria, more specifically. So you will get a lot of wonderful, easy to access sources. Feel free to share the sources that you found, the digital sources, with each other. If we refer you to a book and you find a copy of this book, tell the people where they can also find the copy. Not necessarily the free copy, but the most affordable copies, so that everybody can have access to the source itself. You will find in this manual that you will be provided the Harvard referencing style, which we at Hugenote College use as the standard referencing guide. It is a very comprehensive way of citing and citing the sources and listing the sources at the end in your bibliography. And instead of telling you how to do it, I'm going to refer you to that so that you can have your own document of your own source document. If you want more expanded source document for the Harvard referencing style, then Google Harvard referencing style and get the copies that other universities, the more expanded copies to your availability. I would almost like to close, but there's one very important thing that I need to discuss with you, and that is the issue of plagiarism. Plagiarism is when you use one researcher or writer's words as if it is your own. It's easy to plagiarize somebody in an assignment by writing the stuff, forgetting to cite the person, forgetting to directly quote the person, and give it out as your own research and thinking. That is very, very, very bad. It is something that will get you into a lot of trouble, since we live in an era of open information and easily accessible information, and we live in an era of copywriting where the intellectual property of people's research and thoughts are protected. You cannot just go around and use other people's stuff as if you thought it out yourself. If we discover that you plagiarized people in your research assignments, we will act accordingly by warning you, by giving you the opportunity to correct your mistake. And if you persist in doing this, we will eventually use disciplinary measures as described by the Hugenote College processes and procedures, and you can even be expelled, which is then the worst case scenario, but something that you must keep in account at all costs. There are very nice websites called Turnitin that will enable you to see how much of your paper pops out as other people's sources. In Hugenote's instance, if your assignment shows a larger than 5% similarity to other sources, we will expect of you to rewrite your stuff so that it will reflect your own words and thinking. That is a standard operational procedure at all research institutions or educational institutions to make sure that every assignment, even if it's for a first year degree, first year subject of 10 points, we need you to consistently keep to the standards that is expected, that are expected of academic writing. I cannot stress enough how important it is to not quote somebody without giving the appropriate recognition. Do not use somebody else's words as your own, and to just, in the instance, use it and pass it off as this is the work that you've done. It is unethical. It is lying. It is something that we take very seriously on the side of the college. To that regard, I need to just quickly discuss the use of artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, and so on. It is quite easy to ask ChatGPT to write your assignment. You can type in, please write an academic paper on the subject of Jesus Christ. And ChatGPT will perform, and you will get a very nice piece of paper. You can even tell it how many words it should be, and etc., etc. But here's the catch. ChatGPT is artificial intelligence that works with algorithms that take the information that it has access to and make links. And when you then do that, give them an assignment to write for you, ChatGPT will most probably use fictional sources and use the wrong sources and provide the wrong information based on the wrong subject matter, even if it's not theology. So it is not a good idea to ask ChatGPT to help you with your assignment by asking it to write it to you, thinking you will be able to just reword it and make it your own. I have personally caught ChatGPT out on sources which were misused and falsely quoted and fictional sources, because that is how it works at this stage. You can use ChatGPT, though, to help you understand phrases, terminology, and ideas, to expand on that. I have used ChatGPT to provide me with sources, different books, the names and years on certain subjects, so that they then can go search. It is not widely thought out. ChatGPT is very limited in its scope. So it is becoming a growing tool for use in research and not a tool to write the stuff in your place or to do the work on your behalf, unfortunately. The human factor, the use of human emotions, human body language, that sort of stuff cannot be done through ChatGPT. ChatGPT cannot interpret that at this stage in history, and eventually you will fall short if you base everything you do on a computer that helps you. The computer is your help to think for yourself and to think critically and to analyze and to integrate. You are not supposed to copy and paste. That is not how theological formation happens. I am very privileged to meet you. It was nice to spend this past half an hour or so with you. If you want to get into contact with me, in the study guide of TLH 131, my email address is provided so that you can email me. And when we meet each other in the Zoom meeting, I will give you alternative ways of getting me in contact with me. Enjoy your studies. Enjoy your time with us. And remember, you have been called. You are equipping yourself to become the best prepared minister of religion in your church. And it is a privilege to be in full-time ministry. You are one of the few people in the world that decided to dedicate your life to God's service as a full-time vocation. God bless. And we see each other on Zoom.